Make America utopia, take away the economy from those who rigged it. As I see it, class warfare, the only resort to right-wing doom. It's worth it. How to talk to your right-wing relatives, friends, and neighbors, and other books written by Egberto Willis.
Welcome to Politics Done Right. I'm Egberto Willis, your host. Thank you so kindly for being with us. Good morning, Houston. Good morning, Harris County. Good morning to the great state of Texas. Good morning to the entire United States. Good morning to the entire world, receiving our signals via the magic of the internet, created by whom? We, the people of the United States, we, the people of the world, but now controlled by a few billionaires. But folks, we are going to take it back, and it has already begun. We got a lot to talk about today. The voice is getting a lot better, so we can actually get it done right. Before any further ado, though, we go to the excellent geniuses in El Estudio, El Señor Howard Reynolds and Jacques Van Beba.
Oh, I think that Jack deserves top billing this morning, because we are so glad to have him back. We missed you, Jack.
Yeah.
Yes, we did.
Oh man, boy, it was crazy staying home alone, man.
Oh, yeah. Well, the dog is good company for you.
Yeah, he's good company.
He's a good card player, from what I understand.
He wants in, and then he wants out, and then he wants in, so he kept me busy.
Oh, Lord, sounds like my Rick. What is Wednesday morning? It is Wednesday morning at the radio, the 2nd of April. The 2nd of April, 2025, just after 6 o'clock in the morning. And, well, I think maybe we have seen the first crack in the Elon dynasty over America. We hope we have seen the first crack. I'm terribly disappointed in Florida, but very, very happy that Wisconsin stood up and said, we are not for sale.
Way to go, Wisconsin.
That was beautiful.
That stupid idiot up there with his cheese hat. Oh my God, come on. Cheese hats and chainsaws, and this guy's a moron. All right. That's all I got for you here. Let's see. Oh yes. April the 12th, 2025. The Simpsons haven't been wrong yet. I will just leave it right there.
Help me out.
Oh, it's on Facebook. You'll see it.
Okay. I'll see it.
Or just Google search April the 12th, 2025. The Simpsons haven't been wrong yet. And you'll see what happens.
Okay.
It's pretty funny, but we all hope that they haven't been wrong. But so far, they've been pretty darn accurate. So we'll see what happens on the 12th. Jack, you got a full page of wisdom there, man. I can't wait to hear it.
Darn, man. I tell you what, I really enjoyed your interview. Good morning, Egberto. Good morning.
Good morning, my brother. How are you doing today?
I'm good. I really enjoyed your interview with Isaiah Martin on why the Democrats need a new fighting generation of Gen Z Democrats to reclaim the working class, to stop being so timid and be unapologetically Democrat and stand up to the conservative right with policies that work for the working class citizens, like a fair minimum wage, single-payer Medicare for all, and then get all up in the faces and challenge the Republican Party and their spineless attacks on the social fabric of America. Social programs are the glue that holds society together. If Democrats would stand up for the progressive policies they represent, the people would overwhelmingly follow. They just want politicians that make sense and care for the citizens, and not one more tax break for the filthy rich billionaires. These citizens need to bully the billionaires. Isaiah, you give us hope. You give us hope.
Oh man, that was great, and you nailed it. I enjoyed speaking to Isaiah, and I actually did 2 interviews with him. One of them for that piece on democracy and the Democratic Party, and the other one I did with him for his candidacy. They have two different flavors. I'll play the candidacy one probably sometime next week. Today I'm playing the one that you just spoke about. I want to welcome Joe from Los Angeles, California. She's in the house today. I love me some Joe. She gets up at 4 in the mornings to listen to Politics Done Right. Thank you, girl. Anyway, let me tell you guys, before I get started, what I want to do is tell you there are several big things that happened yesterday. The first thing was Cory Booker did a filibuster, the longest filibuster ever done on the Senate floor ever. And when he got to the hour 20 and looked at him, we knew he was going to break the record. But most importantly, he did not do a filibuster like Ted Cruz reading silly poems or reading silly stories about green this and green. It was a substantive filibuster where he had people in real time sending him information of their fears, their fear of losing their health care. This woman had a story about having a business with employees and her, the business owner, coming down with Parkinson's disease and knowing what laid ahead for her and understanding that given our current medical situation, in as much as she had a successful business, in as much as she had employees, that her medical situation would leave her financial situation unknown. Brothers and sisters, that is what we should be working for. We shouldn't be working for trying to figure out all the technicalities and whatever it takes to give a few billionaires a $4.3 trillion tax cut. That is not what it's all about. That is inhumane. That filibuster that Cory Booker gave was substantive. And what was horrendous about it is when Ted Cruz was given his filibuster, his senseless filibuster, you got media coverage all over the place. When others gave filibusters that were much shorter, of course, you got media coverage and they spoke about it, etc. This one, I had to watch it on C-SPAN and turn it on to PBS Live on the internet to keep tab on it. The interesting thing about it is that there was so much substance to what Cory Booker spoke about. Anybody who tuned in any hour of those 24 hours would have learned a lot about government and learned a lot about our needs. And it is shameful that our media, our people, did not get a chance to hear that, because even the talking heads on MSNBC, CBS, ABC, even as they were doing news, they were regurgitating news among themselves when Cory was talking issue after issue after issue that had Americans known about, their voting methodology would be so much different. So, folks, I am going to play a piece of, I taped it last night. I'm going to play a little piece about that Parkinson portion of his filibuster. I'll probably play that tomorrow. I don't have it processed because there was so much going on last night. Now, secondly, as Brother Jack spoke about, it turns out that we had a big win. I know Brother Howard is sad that Florida didn't come through. I wished more in both 6 and 1, the districts had come through. But remember what I say many times. Party is somewhat cultural. And making that cultural jump many times is very difficult. So I have some empathy for those. What I was happy about is the double-digit swing of those votes. In other words, it tells me that there are people in those ruby red districts in Florida that are listening. They are hearing a message. They are convincible. They are changeable. And given more time and given more realities as far as what Donald Trump is doing, I am confident that if the work is put into if we have that 50 state solution that the former governor of Vermont spoke about, Governor Dean, if one works on that 50 state solution to educate people as far as what's best for you, that people would start voting their interests. And this isn't a Republican or Democratic thing. We've already pointed out the numbers. Most Americans want the same thing. Most Americans, most working class Americans, most middle class Americans, they want the same things. They want to have a livable wage. They want to have a good environment. They want to have maternity leave. They want all these things. And trying to make those policies a left-wing policy, I will accept them as progressive policies, yeah, because they move our country forward. They progress the country. But it's important for us to keep the fight and keep going out there, educating people, using all of our organizations that we have to do just that. And guess what? I saw that. I saw what Cory Booker did by knowing he's just holding it up for 25 hours, but he's getting a spotlight. He's getting a platform. People see that he puts his body through that, and they say, well, you know what? If he can do that, what can I do? What is my part in this whole game, in this whole situation? What is my part? And that was beautiful to see. Now, on the election in Wisconsin, I could not be happier. And before I go to the video, I hope I get some calls on that. 713-526-5738. 713-526-5738. Let's talk about Wisconsin. Wisconsin is a very important race, the Supreme Court. It was wonderful watching that it didn't matter that Elon Musk gave away $1 million checks. He paid people to knock doors to elect an incompetent person. And the people in America, the people in Wisconsin said, you can't buy my vote. Yes, we want money out of politics. But if you make and frame the argument correctly, and you don't have the most money, but you have enough money, enough resources, and platforms to get a message out, the American people, the Wisconsinians, will do the right thing. And that is what we saw. That is what we saw. And as I watched the returns, at first I said, I was speaking to Isaiah when we interviewed Isaiah Martin, and I said, Isaiah, I don't know about the Florida races, but I don't even think the Supreme Court race is going to be close, even as it was the race where the most money ever was placed on a state Supreme Court race. I mean, at some point, people have to realize, they think I can be prostituted. Because if Wisconsin had voted for that guy, it would have been the prostitution of their vote. Think about that. It would have been the prostitution of their vote. So if anybody has anything to say about Wisconsin, it's still early, so some folks are still waking up. 526-5738. But since there are no calls, I'll go ahead and do the Isaiah Martin video. It is about 16 minutes long, so we won't be taking calls. Well, you can start calling and putting yourself in a queue, but the video is 16 minutes long. Let me make sure I'm queued up correctly. Here we go. Welcome to the Substack Live edition of Politics Done Right. I know you hear my voice. Regardless of being ill or not, we get the job done. Today we have a very special guest, Isaiah Martin, and a Gen Z political activist and now politician. He's out with us today, and we are going to discuss the state of the Democratic Party, where it needs to go. And you know what I've been talking about for a long time. I want these guys, these younger folk, I want them to take this damn party and move it forward, move it to what America really wants. So, without further ado, Mr. Isaiah Martin, welcome to Politics Done Right, Substack Live. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. I'm happy to be here. I'm excited.
Well, look, I'm excited too because over the last 3 days, I became your stalker on Instagram because
Yeah.
I like to see what our Democratic or progressive politicians are doing.
hmm
I think it's essential for us to know how to use these different avenues and not being partial or not being selective.
Yeah.
So far in this race, you are the one who have been able to use all the avenues, which I think is in the order of, let's say, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez or the others who have effectively used this platform. Talk
Yeah.
to me a little bit about that.
Well, absolutely. I mean, certainly we want to be everywhere we possibly can. So whether that's in social media, whether that's being in person, we're going to events all across the district. We are going on social media. We got, millions and millions of views on all of our content from all across the country and right here in our district. So we want to make sure that we're doing that. And then every night on TikTok Live, I'm available for people to ask me any question they want. And I believe that that is certainly what a lot of people are excited about because I'm the kind of person that's unafraid. I don't really run from anything. And I want to show that no matter what the situation is, I'm unscripted, unfiltered, and I'm ready to be here to serve the people.
Well, the most important thing, can you do the job?
Absolutely.
Now, here's the
Absolutely.
deal. What's the problem right now with the Democratic Party as you see it?
Well, I would say that the biggest thing is I think the modern day question in front of us is just fight versus flight. It's not really as ideological today as it once was. It's more of a question of are you willing to stand up and fight these guys or are you going to lay down? And certainly, I believe that we must be moving in the direction of fighting. We have to fight these people because they're throwing everything at us. The same old playbook, the same old rules that have been in place for the last 100 or so years is simply what's not going to get us out of this moment that we're in right now. It's unprecedented time, so it takes unprecedented action. And if you want new results, you're going to have to elect a new type of person to go and serve you.
So in other words, you can't have caution, inordinate caution when you're fighting these guys.
No, I think that it's important to be strategic, but I certainly don't think that you should be afraid of your own shadow. I don't think you should be weak as paper mache. It takes a backbone to stand up to these people, and ultimately, that's what we need.
I saw an ad a couple of days ago, and it was about Bernie Sanders saying the Democratic Party needs to turn left. And this guy was making fun of Bernie Sanders by saying, look, they've already moved left and they're off the bridge. And the problem is the following. Forget about left and right.
Yeah.
The policies that most Americans want is the policies Republicans and neoliberal Democrats call left wing. Americans want good health care. Americans want family leave, good pay, good environment, all of that. What should progressives do, in your opinion, to really switch the narrative? They make one believe that being left is somehow not what most Americans want.
Well, it's just kind of interesting when I hear, folks say that because it was a Democrat that went and made sure we could have Social Security. It was a Democrat that went and created Medicare and Medicaid. It was a Democrat that made sure that we can get real things directly to people. I think that ultimately politics is all personal. And we have to make sure that every single day we're communicating to people how our policies and our agenda is going to personally make their lives better. Because we know that when we have universal health care, it helps people. We know that people want that. We already know that. We know that when we do things like protecting Social Security, that people want that. They want their Social Security to be stronger, not weaker. We know when we talk about helping the veterans that served and signed the dotted line to serve America, but ultimately feel as if America is not stepping up for them when they return home, that giving them the strongest VA in the history of this country is something that they want. Now, if Republicans and if conservatives want to call that left wing or crazy, then that's just on them. But I just happen to believe that in the wealthiest country on earth, that we certainly should be providing for the people of our country, and we should be unapologetic about doing so.
No, I don't want to put you against a party or anything of that sort.
Yeah.
But do you think it is necessary to weed out those in the party who have little distinction with, let's say, the Republican orthodoxy?
Well, I mean, I think it just depends on their district, particularly. I just think that ultimately we have to be in the business of expanding our party and making sure that we're electing people to seats that best reflect our values. And that's why these primaries are so incredibly important. Why it's important to understand the kind of person that you're sending to represent our party in Washington, because ultimately, if you don't pay attention to primaries and you get someone in there that's milk toast and doesn't stand for you, I mean, then the only person that we have to blame is essentially ourselves. So we have to make sure that we're very active in these primaries and we're getting people that understand us, that fight for us, and are focused on our issues.
You and I understand the word milk toast. A lot of regular
Yeah.
people in your district don't. Tell them
Yeah.
what you mean by that.
Well, I mean, look, I think that it was Harry Truman that says that if you're given two options to vote for a Republican or Republican light, people are going to vote for a Republican every single time. And so I do not believe in Republican light politics. I think that we have to be in the party of transforming people, especially because we understand that the facts are on our side. We understand that the last 51 million jobs have been created under Democratic presidents. We know that we grow the economy. We know that we can cut child poverty in half when our policies are done, like the child tax credit. We know that our policies work. So it's time to go all in, go further on the things that we know works, and actually be in the business of doing things. I think that a lot of times people see the fire from Republicans and they get worried about what a Republican might say. But instead, I'm more worried about what the people will say when we deliver for them, when we're putting substantive things on their table to make their lives better. Because when we do that, we can wipe out the Republicans like how Roosevelt did and how he kept the Republicans on their backs for literally 15 straight years when he was there. And I want to do the exact same thing.
I watch the news, morning news every day, but
Yeah.
specifically on Sundays, all of them. And I hear Democrats on those channels all of the times. I've always spoken in my Substacks about being able to articulate immediately off one's tongue what
Yeah.
you just did.
Yeah.
Why is it that somehow that's a working class message I just heard?
Mhm.
All jobs mostly created by Democrats. Best economy, Democrats. Social
Mhm.
Security, Democrats.
Yeah.
Why don't I hear it? Not even from Bernie Sanders, which is one of the guys I was a delegate for.
Mhm.
Why is it I don't hear that articulation right off the tongue of every Democrat on TV, with the last sentence being, and by the way, folks, fact check what I just said.
That's right. That's right. I mean, I think ultimately, I remember an old Obama quote where he said, "Change doesn't come from Washington; it comes to Washington." And I believe that a lot of times, you got a lot of the DC folks that will do these poll tested messages, and they swear that you have to go follow them to a T. And ultimately, they're trying to test and calculate every single word that people say. But I think that ultimately, in today's time, we have to be in the business of going off the cuff, of being authentic, and just being real. Because when you tell the truth, and this is why I believe I've had so much success on my TikTok lives, is because I just tell the facts. I tell the unapologetic facts. I just tell the truth, because when you do that, that's how you can go forward and really, number one, strike down Republicans, because the facts are never on their side. They don't stand for anything. All they stand for is for the richest people in society to make more money. And every single time they've drove up the national debt to do so, they make the richest people in the country richer, and our economy suffers. And it is us that always has to bail them out. So I believe that it is not good to try to worry about what a Republican might say, because I think that that's really the biggest problem in DC. People are always concerned about what Fox will say or what Charlie Kirk will say or whatever right-wing crackpot they come up with. But instead, we should just be more focused on delivering for the people, on communicating to people, be damned with what the Republicans say, and focus more on getting things done for regular people.
In other words, be assertive and not be responsive to them.
That's right.
You must be the one leading the debate.
We got to go on offense.
Leading the narrative.
That's right. We got to go on offense. We have to go on offense, because especially there's no reason to be on defense. These guys suck. I hate to just say, we just got to be honest about it. They suck. And so because of that, their policies are stupid. They do not work. And it's just going to be important for us to be able to communicate that to people in regular language, instead of this super academic, PC bullshit, quite frankly, that doesn't connect with anybody.
You're also absolutely right. It's interesting because in under 100 days, I think Donald Trump is at 70 days, and the economy has already started to crash. Mm-hmm. And there's something that very few people realize. The last several recessions have occurred under Republican control, because they simply don't know what to do with any kind. Well, they know what to do with an economy in order to make some people wealthy. Continue.
That's right. That's right. 100%. I believe every recent recession has happened under Republican control. Look, ultimately, all the Republicans know how to do is to destroy. It is to give tax cuts to the richest people in America. It doesn't matter what's happening. They will always go and do that. And what you're seeing right now is a destruction of not only the economy, but you're seeing them tee up $4.5 trillion in additional tax cuts for the wealthiest people in society. And they're using this, and they're using tariffs to squeeze out small businesses, to give the big businesses more money so they can then buy up all the smaller businesses that we've been working and building up for a very long time. All of this stuff is intentional. It's what happened during the Great Depression. It's the same type of playbook. So we have to call that stuff out. We cannot be afraid in this moment of what Trump might say, because when we're direct with people and we're actually answering their concerns and we're talking about these things in an unapologetic way, people will listen.
And I think people are waiting. Most, not only Democrats, the working class. That's the reason many of them went for Donald Trump under false pretenses.
That's right.
We're waiting to see some assertions. So what are you and your Gen Z cohort going to do about this?
Well, for starters, I want to be ruthlessly focused on the economy. I want to be ruthlessly focused on helping people pay lower prices for things. I want to ruthlessly be focused on helping them with their health care. I want to ruthlessly be focused on helping them start businesses and ultimately being able to make the most of their own lives. I believe that it is in the interest of government to do so. I think one of the best boosts that we can do for the economy is to wipe out medical debt for every single person in this country, because I believe that it's absurd that we're giving trillions of dollars in tax cuts to people like Elon Musk, but we have people that are maxing out their credit cards to pay their medical bills, to pay for dialysis in this country. It is shameful. So it's time to wipe that out. It's time to completely reform the healthcare system so we don't end up in this mess again. I want to see us understand that we have these massive job losses that are coming because these companies are shedding jobs, particularly with the development of AI. We are not training workers for the jobs of tomorrow. Right here in Houston, we have an investment from High Velocity to build hydrogen production. They call them a hydrogen hub right here in Houston. The issue is that we don't necessarily have the people that are here that are trained for these jobs. So what happens? Then they try to go over to another state somewhere. They try to go to other cities to go and bring people here, when we have people that are in this city that want to do the jobs, that are wanting and able to do them, but they simply don't have the training. So I want to make community colleges tuition free for all across the country, so we can use that right here in Texas 18 to get the training programs that we need. So when we get these type of plants, when we get clean energy, when we get AI, when we get all of these things that are going to need jobs for the future, we're not having to go other places. We can get them right here in the 18th congressional district, get them trained, and get them in the jobs that pay them a lot of money and help their families.
That is the kind of leadership I think many are looking for. Now, give me a closer. Let me hear what you think is the way forward.
Well, I think that ultimately it is a Democratic Party that must be unafraid. A Democratic Party that is not going to be concerned about, what Republican ire might be. Going into every type of question that you can find, addressing misconceptions, taking every question, going into the questions that might be gotchas, but still going in and answering them with a better answer. Because I believe that gotchas are crushed by better answers. So we have to do that. We have to be bold on our policy. We have to be able to propose things that will be able to help us in the now, help us with our personal lives, but then also prepare us for the future. Because when we're focused on the future, when we're focused on what's ahead, we can really get people prepared for this next generation where we're going to have so many development that's happening in this country. So I represent a new version of the Democratic Party. I think that's safe to say. But I believe that it is through young people and it's through people that see the understanding of this fight that is ahead, the policies for the future, and a bold agenda that's ahead. I believe very confidently that not only we will defeat this corrupt president, MAGA, and all the crazy Republicans that look like they're so strong in Washington right now, but we will dominate them for the next few years and potentially decades ahead if we play our cards right.
Let me tell you, Isaiah, I've been very happy to see young Gen Z and some younger millennials starting to creep up in the Democratic Party. Something
Yeah.
that's been missing from many older folks that refuse to back down and say,
Yeah.
open the door and let these guys come in. Thank you so kindly for appearing on the channel here on Substack Live, and keep up the good work.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
All right, folks, I hope you enjoyed that. The telephone number is 713-526-5738. Extension number 2, 713-526-5738. Welcome to the chat. Joe from Los Angeles, California. Lee the Beer Cat from Austin, Texas. We have Glenn Rand from Katy, Texas. My good Ask Egberto brother. We also have in the house Eric Hayes. I'm scrolling down. If I missed you, forgive me. Glenn has a lot of commentary we may get to a little later, but I hear you, Glenn. Inside of the Substack, which the interface isn't very good, but we have Suzette Jensen, LBW, John Seifert, Gail Kunis, LBW, Lisa's Last Word, Get It Right, Get It Right, Sharon Chattel, Dolores Guyton, Thomas Friedman, Ilan Lydell, Connie, Sophia. Thank you guys for all being here. Now, I missed a lot because I started the app late, but also so I don't get all the back ones, but also I don't get the history. We have Suzette Jensen says, "Yay, Wisconsin! Proof that Wisconsin is not for sale. A sound rejection of Musk." I watched, and also says another caller says, I watched a significant portion of this filibuster. I got to meet Senator Booker when he ran for president. I was waiting for him to show his ability to lead. So proud of him. Glenn has some exceptions, but I understand Glenn. No one's perfect. We have to make it that these other side groups have less value and that people, he understands that we can take up the slack. Welcome as well from Katy, Texas, Jackie Campishi. Good morning, she says. Thank you for being here, Jackie. All right, let's go to the first call. Let's go to Bruce, line 1.
Good morning, Alberto.
Good morning, my brother. Talk to me.
Okay, this will be super fast. I just got a couple compliments. First, you're dedicated. You're working sick. We appreciate that. Number 2, Cory Booker. I always liked the guy, but I really, really respect the guy now. And number 3, the Wisconsin voters. I did a happy dance when I saw the results come in. I wasn't like you. I was actually a little bit nervous about it because I know Trump spent a lot of money on the national election and money bought that one. So I was nervous. And one thing I'm going to do this afternoon when I grocery shop is I'm going to put some Wisconsin cheese in my basket.
There you go.
Yeah. Anyway, I got one of my dumb conspiracies real quick. I'm gonna tell my MAGA brothers that it has to be true. I made it up. Vote, what swung the vote in Wisconsin, I'm going to tell them, was it was a Democratic it was the voters that were 130 and 140 years old and older worried about.
You are
Thank you for what you're doing.
you are terrible, Bruce, but thank you, brother. You have a great day, buddy.
I know I am. Thank you very much. Bye bye.
All right. Let's go to brother Augie. Come on in, Augie.
Good morning. Yeah, under Republicans, sometimes it was more than a recession. Under George W., they were talking depression.
Yep.
And it was Obama that got us out from a depression and got us on the right track on the economy. And yeah, some of our Democratic politicians, they give in too easy. Like Al Gore should have won the election the first time against George W., but he caved and conceded before all the votes were counted in Florida. And after he conceded and all the votes were counted, found out that he had won, not George W.
Augie, here's the thing. I am glad you said that. Do you know how many Americans don't know that when all the votes were counted in Florida, that Gore actually won? Do you know most Americans don't know that?
Right. And it seems like a lot of Republican voters, and even the minorities that voted for Trump, don't realize that he lies a lot. I don't know, like Brian and Bart. I don't know if they wear glasses, and if they aren't, maybe they should, because they can't see what's happening in front of them. Brian said one time that only one police officer got killed, and he said because he died on that day. No, there were 5 police officers that died because of what happened on that day. Even if they didn't die on that day, they died afterwards because of what happened. And more than 100 were injured. Some were injured so much they had to quit their jobs. Well, they left their jobs because of the health that they had. And they talk about how they waved the flag, the Republicans, except that they don't care for our veterans with the VA. And Trump insults the military, calls them suckers and losers, and insulted a family whose son had died fighting for America's war.
Hey, listen, here, Augie, the Republican leadership and party, they are all performative. And unfortunately, too many Republicans that follow the leaders are simply buying that performance. But when they are made aware that it is a performance, we have a better chance of getting them. Augie, I got to move on, but thank you for all that you do and your commentary, my brother.
But like you said, they prostitute themselves. And I said that years ago. When they're being bought, they're prostitutes. They're working for their masters that are giving them money, and they're serving them well.
You nailed it.
But,
thank you.
Thanks for all.
Thank you, brother.
You are our heroes. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
Thank you, brother. Let's go to brother Anthony. Come on in, Anthony.
Yeah, good morning. I was glad to see that you had a young congressional candidate on your show. I think you're 100% correct. We've got to get younger people, this new generation, involved in politics, because I really believe that a lot of people just didn't show up to the polls last year. They just got disenchanted with, who wants to vote for a couple of old people? I mean, I love Biden. He was a good man. He dedicated his life to politics and doing everything he could to help the country. But they used his age against him, and I think a lot of people are having buyer's remorse. They're thinking, well, I'd rather have some old, guy with a lot of old problems than have this old guy that we have now that's destroying, our government and our country and our way of life. But the future is our young people, and so getting them involved in politics and I think these young people will relate to it in return and go back to the polls, because, when you only have 50 or 60 or 70% of the voting public actually going out and voting in national elections, that's not good for for this country. It needs to be more like 80 and 90%. So that's how I feel about it.
There you go. I think you nailed it, Anthony. And yeah, bringing young people back in. And I think a lot of the problems that our friend Glenn Ryan is complaining about in the chat will be solved by having young people who have their own sources of funding, like AOC, not dependent on PACs, like even this new guy that I interviewed so far. That's one question I failed to ask him that I should have, whether he will not take money from PACs, but we'll talk about that another time. Anthony, thank you very much for your call, all right?
Okay, you have a good day.
You too, brother. All right, let's go to Joanna. Come on in, Joanna. Is this my Joanna from Los Angeles?
Yes, it's very dark here. I'm out on my balcony. I have a balcony. Isn't that nice? I'm so lucky. But
I hope I hope all that smell of all that burning is gone.
Oh, it's all gone. Yes, very much better. But my friend died because she was anti-vax.
Oh, God.
And she was, yeah, her name was Audrey. But I actually was waiting so long, and I'm on my balcony, and it's so cold, and it's so dark here. So anyway, I love all of you who are listening, and that's what we want to see.
Well, look, thank you for listening, and thank you for being on that dark balcony in LA and watching. We appreciate you both for your ears, both for the input you give us at 3 o'clock, as well as support that you've constantly give both programs. So thank you so kindly, Joanna. Okay. Oh, I think we missed her. All right, let's go to Betty. I haven't spoken to Betty in a while. Betty, you have been missed. Where have you been?
Yeah, no, I've been listening. I had some new early morning duties, so sorry about that. Let me say, on Booker, his folks are here to stay, and you know they'll stay. And I had to call in on the people in Wisconsin. The good people in Wisconsin, yippee! You climbed up on the bull and tamed him. And I would be so proud to run around with you. Yay, yo, yippee. That's about it. I got to run.
Thank you, sister. Love you too, girl. You have a great one. Let's go to Junior. Come on in, Junior. Brother Junior or Sister Junior? I don't know which one.
It's Soul Brother Junior. Hey, man, first of all, get you some ginger root, some turmeric and lemon, and cut it up and put it in a pot of water and drink it as a tea. That'll clear that throat. I can tell you got throat issues this morning, brother.
Yes, sir.
Me
I will do.
Hey, man.
Yeah.
Briefly, I'm 64 years old, man. In the same conversations I'm hearing today about the president, I was hearing that when I was 5 years old. So the old terminology, the meaning of the word insanity is doing the same thing over and over and looking for different results. Voting, yeah, I mean, you can vote if you want to. The only reason I vote is because of people like Fannie Lou Hamer, Medgar Evers, and Swarner, Goodman, and Cheney. But in my opinion, I'm not dependent on Biden. I'm not dependent on Trump. You know who I'm dependent on, Berto? The man in the, because ain't nobody gonna do nothing for you but the man in the mirror. Hey, man, do something about that throat, man. We love you. Bye.
Thank you very much. Love you too, Brother Junior. All right, let's go to Brother Harry. And look, the throat is a lot better than yesterday. I drank some lemon and honey this morning, and it cleared up some. I'm going to go get that darn turmeric. I have ginger, but I don't have turmeric, and work on that. Thank you, Junior. All right, let's go to Harry. Brother Harry, come on in.
Good morning, brother. Good morning, Howard. Good morning, Jack. Yeah. Follow Junior's recommendation. Follow my recommendation. Get the Mucinex. Do you try hot toddies too?
No, I haven't.
Well, hot toddies, you use brandy, you use lemon, and you put that in it, and you just heat that up and You can drink that. You can gargle like you're doing. You do all those things. Things with herbs that'll help with the throat. And like I said, the Mucinex, the extra strength of the tan bill will help break that mucus and phlegm up. But shout out to Wisconsin, Roberto. Our prayers were answered. The people rejected Elon Musk and his $1,000 and $100 giveaways to voters. You cannot buy this election. This woman, Susan Crawford, stands for abortion rights. She stands for entitlements, protecting people's entitlements. She's not, she rejects autocracy. Thank God for our democracy, and to help those who need help. She is for keeping our entitlements, all our safety nets. Shout out to the voters for rejecting Elon Musk trying to buy the election, and they weren't fooled by his cheesehead act. Green Bay Packer fans, thank you. Now he's going to try when they do the next election with the in the midterms to spend a lot of money, but the voters got to reject him and Donald Trump again and save our continue to save our democracy and push back against these people who just want an economy for the 1% and for the billionaire, trillionaire class, when there are people who need these entitlements. And AOC and Bernie Sanders, continue doing what you're doing. And you MAGA people who voted for Trump, you just got to realize you made a mistake, because your entitlement programs are on the line too. Donald Trump, Elon Musk, the rest of those folks, they don't care about you. They just
Thank you, brother.
Always saying on this show, they want to make money for the corporate.
We got it, Harry. I'll see you at 3. Talk to you at 3, Harry.
All right, take care, guys.
Take care, buddy. All right, let's speak to Brian. Come on in, brother Brian.
Yeah, this is going to be a two-part statement. One is going to go to Patrick, since he doesn't understand how economics works. NASA has a demand that if they make something or develop something, it has to go back to society if anybody asks for it, such as Chartec, a fireproofing that was on the Apollo moon mission. When they re-enter the atmosphere, it doesn't burn up. Okay, you can look up Chartec 242 or 1704. That's the projects that I worked on for many, many years. I was asked to go to Fort Lauderdale twice. So, yeah, I know a little bit about NASA and its programs. Okay, you worked for NASA for 1 year and got angry and quit, right? Because of the good old boy mentality. Okay, so don't like to insult me about not knowing about NASA. And as far as Patrick, what's the subsidies that SpaceX gets from from the United States? The answer is zero subsidies. He also puts the mission in space for half the cost of McDonnell Douglas or Boeing. Half the cost. So explain to me what I don't know about NASA.
I think you just proved it. First of all, it's not only what NASA builds has to go back into the public domain. Anything that is funded by dollars by us, the people, goes back into the public domain, except if it's something that's classified. Number two, when it comes to me working for NASA, it was more than a year. It was about a year and a half. But I had very senior positions at NASA. Thank you very much. And not only that, but I did quite a bit with the space station. That said, I'm not here to debate with you on whether you know NASA or not, because like I said, your statements prove it. Now, when it comes to what Elon Musk gets, because Elon Musk comes in cheaper than Boeing, which Boeing has always ripped the government off in anything that it builds. Any one of these defense and other contractors rip the government off. But the fact of the matter is, everything that Musk is using with his engineers, it's not Musk. Musk is a dummy. Anything that the people who work for Musk is putting together was built on the technology that many of us built. And many of us built technologies that others built. We built upon the technologies of many others. So to sit down and have a belief that somehow this guy is a great guy, you're simply wrong. You don't know what you're talking about. So, my dear brother, I love you, Brian. I got to go to Cat. I made you speak on and without interrupting you. I didn't interrupt you at all. I did not interrupt you. Let's go ahead to Cat. Come on in, Cat.
Hello?
Yeah, you're on, Cat.
Oh, hi. Good morning, Edberto. Oh my God, you sound worse. Have you been gargling with salt water? You need to clear that up, what you got going on.
I will clear it up. It was better earlier in the show. It got worse as the show went on.
Oh, well, I always I told my kids that whiskey was mama's medicine when I had problems like this.
Okay, I learned from that. Unfortunately, I don't drink.
Seriously. Oh, okay. But seriously, elderberry syrup. If you can get elderberry syrup, it'll
Okay.
help you a lot. Oh, but let me get on to your previous caller because I just moved from South Texas and we lived within the blast zone of Elon's rockets, and I can tell you how he does things cheaper than NASA because he cuts corners. He's cut corners from the beginning. He has also laid out a whole bunch of money donations, which, of course we call bribes, all around the local governments, and everybody rolled over like little puppies wanted their bellies rubbed, and allowed him to do all kinds of things, damage to people's homes, damage to the environment, all kinds of stuff. I mean, let me tell you, let me just make one, because I've talked about this before, even though this is only my second call. He has other options. He doesn't have to blast off from Boca Chica Beach. He had Cape Canaveral, which is no human person lives within the blast zone of Cape Canaveral. And then there was also Fort something in California.
Yeah.
He also blasted off from. Yeah. There's no reason for him to obliterate the ecology and harm the people down there in South Texas. Anyway, that's all I'm going to say about that, because I called about something else, actually. So I was watching a video that was put together by a park ranger, and it really depressed me because, it's like all the things that this administration is doing to our country, it's like one gut punch after the next, after the next, after the next. And when you absorb the hit from one and you kind of take a breath and go, well, okay, what can we do about this? There's another one. And this is, of course, by plan. We've already discussed that. But apparently putting the forest management under a corporate lumber person is going to be pretty devastating, because if you look at a map of the United States, our national parklands are mostly on the west side of the country. And this park ranger outlined how there already is logging to prevent forest fires, and just for management. But they always leave the good, healthy, older timber in place because it is irreplaceable. When you take down old timber that's been there for 100, 250, 350 years, whatever, you can't just replace it with a sapling. It takes literally another 100 years for it to take the
get back in the right size. Yeah. Now, I'm with you, Kat. Kat, I got to go to another caller, but let me just say this to you. The gut punch after gut punch, you're so right about that. But you know what, Kat? I see light at the other end. I see people waking up. And I think Wisconsin and even those two races in Florida said a lot. So, sis, hang in there. That's what we're doing here. Go real quick. Can
I summarize? Okay. Yeah. So when we when we clear cut these forests, the Arctic air from the North Pole and from Canada will have nothing to stop it, and it is going to affect the climate all the way down to the tip of Texas and beyond. I mean, this is very serious stuff. It's not just, oh, boo-hoo, we're going to lose some parkland.
I got you. I got to get the last caller in, but look, thank you, Kat. Check us out at 3:00 as well, okay, sis?
Okay, and remember, elderberry syrup. Get it?
Yes, we'll do. Come on in, Patrick. Elderberry syrup. Let me write that down. Elderberry syrup. Go ahead, Pat.
Well, Kat's phone call was more important than mine. The deforestation changes rainfall as well, reduces the amount of oxygen that's in the air. She had some very important points. I was going to retort to Brian, but I've run out of time. But I do have a personal question for you.
Yes, sir.
So, do you believe in slavery?
No, I don't.
Well, the reason why I ask is every single time a undereducated conservative calls in, you end up owning them.
Oh, Lord.
You have a great day.
Oh, man, you made my day. You made my day. And you finished a minute earlier than I thought you would. Hey, Kat, let's talk at 3:00. Anyway, I'm going to pass this to the studio before I come back with some closing thoughts.
Let's keep that momentum going here and get Elon Musk out of our business. What you got, Jack?
Cheese heads, chainsaws, and checks we can't be bought.
That's right.
I
got about a minute left. Take it home.
I got a minute. Here's the thing, guys. I want to tell you guys this. Sorry for the voice, but I got to do this, man. This is what we got to get done. Come whether it's raining, shining, cold or flu, COVID or not, we get the job done. I couldn't last night as I watched Florida come in, I was a bit disappointed, but when I saw the numbers, I said, but the country is moving in the right direction. Then came Wisconsin. And when I saw the margin of the win, I said, you know what? America is waking up. They fell asleep in 2024 and they see the price that they're going to pay. Unfortunately, there is so much that we are going to have to do to recover from the damage that's been done to the society. We are going to have to stick together. We are going to have to bring MAGA into the fold. I know a lot of you hate when I say that. We got to bring them in. And folks, without further ado, please don't forget, go to, or rather, the rest of the show is at politicsdoneright.com/newsletter. And you can reach me directly at kpft@politicsdoneright.com. kpft@politicsdoneright.com. Love you all. My name is Egberto Willis. This is Politics Done Right. And you guys know how I end this baby. I am what? Out.
You're listening to the American Democracy